the next wave in surveillance, AI, real-time analytics, and the future of security operation. This is by P Sreenivas, the co-founder of and CEO of Duranc Tech Service. Please welcome Mr. Sreenivas.
Hi, good morning, everyone. It was great session already. I think we kick-started with a lot of interest in various ideas and topics. Gary, it's always been great experience with you, giving extensive information on any topic that we get in the security. Thanks, sir, Professor sir, for the elaborate ideas of continuous training and learning in the AI. AI has been, much used word for in terms of whether you understand it in a productive way or unproductive way. It's been a jargon that everybody want to use it in every sentence, but without having context. That's what is the unfortunate thing. But now, I think slowly after a decade of this AI word being used, it's now coming to more to the context than to the reference. So the topic that is we take up now is the next wave in the surveillance with the generative AI. For the last 20, 25 years, there has been quite a number of efforts that have been done in the AI, whether it is research at the academic level or at the institutional level, but it's never been more towards the implementation at the end user level. That has started happening the last 5-6 years. So it's a handshake between both the end user and the the research institutions and the development organizations, which has to come towards each together to make this research enabled so that the security industry can utilize the opportunity of the artificial intelligence based research to be implemented at the last mile. The last mile has not been effectively using artificial intelligence as of now. I feel there is a lot of scope for the, Gary would say, I don't want to say the physical security, but that word is used, so I'm using it. Both the physical security and the electronic security and the information technology, the convergence of all these three things has to happen as a fusion. So if you see this is just to give you an idea of like how we have transformed ourselves into the transition right from the camera live feed to the remote cloud to the cyber encryption, the cyber security encryption. We see CCTV camera has been all pervasive. You have millions of cameras, not millions, now they are in billions. So these are all silo installations. They have so many silo installations that are not been integrated into single platforms. So there is a lot of need for these cameras need to be integrated into a platform where it can be managed well. So that's the live camera streaming. What we have started long back, almost 12 years back, was trying to bring all these silo installations into one single platform. If you don't have these cameras connected effectively, brought into one system, and then the storage is managed, you won't be able to do anything beyond that. So the basis is to make sure that everything is brought together. Then the remote cloud storage. The challenge has been how you connect these instead of local storage to take it into the cloud. And with the cloud, you have a lot of opportunity to do the artificial intelligence or analysis or scrubbing of the video. All these things can be done at the cloud level because you have bustable hardware. In the local and edge devices, you don't have this opportunity to do the lot of these analytics to be run on the edge. But if you have the opportunity of this video to be in the central platform, you can do a lot more than what you do in the local. So what we have done is a step-by-step, first taking the video and pulling that into the cloud, consolidating all the cameras, then analyzing them at the central storage. The third step we have taken is managing these cameras with the effective way of who gets the access to where. So who is the people who will get the access and who will get the alerts that happens with the video. So after a long 4 or 5 years, we have come to a stage where the generative AI real-time analysis is done at the cloud level, and that infrastructure has been built. Now we have, throughout the journey, continuous tracking and cutting-edge technology has been implemented at the cloud level. Just want to take a step back and try to understand, is it the CCTV alone as the input, right? It's not the end. The CCTV is one of the inputs that we get to do the analysis for the AI. The natural scenarios that we have seen in the video is all the video management systems have single source which is actually dependent on the video. But now we have to move forward from just a video to multiple inputs that can be taken into one single platform, like the motion sensors, door contacts, vibration sensors, environmental sensors, all these sensors on one side, and the drone streams, thermal and night vision inputs to all the API-based integration. If you see, if you have only video feed, then it becomes a very limited source, and the integration and the output of your analysis will not happen as effectively as if you make it as a fusion, where all these input devices come together. So that's where we have integrated pretty much all the security devices into one single platform. So the current trends is the integrated physical security. You have the convergence of all this infrastructure, guard barriers, electronic security, CCTV, sensors, and all these RFIDs. And we take that as a proactive surveillance into AI, shift from reactive to very predictive monitoring system with the AI ML. So this cloud-based remote security operations and centralized cloud EMS, all these things are integrated into one single platform. And the smart incident management is what we have effectively implemented in our solution. So this is one of the things that Professor has been discussing. If you see from the transformation from the regular surveillance, we have moved from video analytics, which are very regular video analytics, from the analytics to the natural language driven search. What Professor has mentioned about, so in general, what we are doing is doing a query, right? So the auto-generated dashboards that we have implemented in our system are very intuitive. Like, say for example, if you have the cameras across your environment, your SEZ or your college or your school environment or a hospital, you shouldn't be actually asking the system to do a proactive and analysis and then give you the alerts. In our case, what we have done is, like, if you have a question or a query, general query on an NLP, right? You ask the system, and the system actually retrieves the data, and it doesn't give you the data. It actually gives you the data in a dashboard format. The entire dashboard is generated on a fly. You are not asking to create a pie chart or a graph or anything. It actually does on its own. Just to give you an idea, this is one of the dashboards that's created by the system with limited amount of input that we are given. This case study is recently there is Dasara festival in Vijayawada. So the police wanted to have a very interactive system that can actually give them data in a very formulated manner where they can actually manage the entire event of 10 days. Situation is, this is a very temporary event. Okay, so I'll just paint a scenario of this. This temple is just 1 kilometer radius, and it's a small hillock. You don't have much of a space for a lot of people to move around. From down to the up, it's only, just 300-400 meters, and then people have to come down. So now understand, it's a small town, it's a small temple, and there is almost 80 to 90,000 people are planned to come in a single day. And there are different departments that need to work together. Okay, one is police department, municipal administration, and so there are other departments, the collector office, and all these people are sitting together in one place, trying to manage the crowd. I mean, you have seen a lot of issues, a lot of scenarios where 2,000 people congregated and then, stampede happened. But here the scenario is, expected was 80,000 a day, and that is 10 days. So what we have done is, we have created an LLM, we have created an entire training. The generative AI system has created on its own the dashboard with continuous live streaming of the cameras. And these tabs, if you see, these are different tabs. One is, these are all in Telugu, but anyway, for the convenience of the local people. So you have how many people have visited, parking, and people who have taken the meal, free meal. And that the fourth one is a very interesting one. You have the entrance of the queue line is half a kilometer away. And then you need to show them how much time it takes for them to complete the darshanam. Okay? So what we have done is, we have continuously taken faces at the entrance of the queue. And then once they come out of the queue, we have taken the faces, right? So at that point, there is a screen at the entrance of the queue. It actually gives how much time it takes for a person to come out. Very interestingly, this is used by police for a different purpose. What they have done is, once that time goes more than 45 minutes, what they do is they do the walkie-talkie, tell the staff at the inside the temple, and say per minute how many people they send out is, say, for example, 20. When it goes to more than 1 hour, they'll make it as 25. Then the queue line is reduced, right? So here, the data that is coming from the cameras is converted into a text data, given it to the police, who are actually taking that as a reply and then using the workflow. So the agentic scenario that we usually do on an automated basis, it is done on a manual basis here. So we also had traffic and the people coming through the railway stations. The interesting fact about the traffic is, what we have done is, we have kept the cameras at 3 entrances into the city, and we counted the number of vehicles that are coming into the city, and those vehicles, if they cross certain limit, they usually redirect the traffic within the city. So if you see the human population coming from the railway stations, that's one of the tab. Where if people are coming in railway station, if they get down more than, say, for example, 5,000 in a train with 5 exits of the railway station, the police actually does the management of the people. Earlier, they used to put a constable there and ask them how many people are coming out of the railway station. And this guy will use the phone and say, sir, probably like 2,000 or 3,000. That a guesswork. But this year, the entire numbers with the cameras we have taken and then given a real-time information to the police. So the other point that I want to mention is when the time of the queue is more, right? Say if it is extended beyond 1 hour. Interestingly, the municipal administration has used it differently, wherein they actually send out more water bottles because it is more than 1 hour that they have to wait. So these are the very simple things. These are all the data points that we have given, and how they utilized for their purpose is what is their job work. So anyway, I just kept that as a understanding of the real-time scenario. This physical security with the QRTs, with the generative AI, like I earlier said that cross-systems intelligence is very important for us. We have so many data input points other than the video. Video is just a part of it. I should say now, after working almost 10, 12 years in the video, I would say it's almost 1/4 of the entire system. Rest of the 75% is you have all the bullets, input devices that are coming from IoT, you're getting drone integrations, all these other systems which has to become a fusion, that actually takes around 75%. This again, I would like to come back because when I said all the other systems, here we have integrated the drones, we have integrated all the sensors that are there at the temple level, and we created the entire data information for the DGPs and all the police there. This I just laid out. There's a lot of information in it. If you'd like to see, what is today and the near future and the vision 2030, there's a lot of progress that is happening. It's just simple object detection to simple, real-time analytics, AI analytics. We are completely moving ahead towards the generative scene prediction, behavioral and posture generation, all those effective with the generative AI. And multiple angles that we see with the cameras that we actually analyze internally. See, autonomous security decision making, like what Professor has mentioned about model context, is what is the next step in the entire process. MCPs are now very active. This layer between our LLMs and agentic, you have a middle path, which is MCPs. The MCPs are hitting multiple databases and retrieving the data and giving it to the LLMs. So this process of cycle between LLMs and MCPs and agentic AI, which takes it to the workflow, is what we're going to see in a couple of years. And another thing, probably you may correct me, we have talked a lot about LLMs, but we never talked about SLMs. So there are a lot of edge analysis that can be done with small language models, which actually can sit at the edge level and give a lot of information instead of me having too much of graphic infrastructure at the central level. I can also bring it down to smaller chunks, and that actually can work with the large LLMs. So this ecosystem is getting generated, and 2030 seems to be far ahead, right? But it's very near. Last 30 years, what we have done in terms of technology development is very minimal. That's what we feel. Right now, the whole generation handset, phones, and then from there we have come to the mobile phones. But what I see is what we have done in 30 years, you fast forward in next 3 years, this single cycle of AI, MCPs, and agentic flow is going to transform everything, be it security or be it another industry. The AI workflows will actually take over a lot of your work and then reduce the human intervention into it. immersive socks with AR and VR simulations that is now, I think, pretty much we're crossing that line. The entire workflows are taking over the AR, VR, and the digital twin that actually overlays. Just 1 minute. So the digital twin that actually takes over with the help of the agentic AI and overlaying all your alert systems on the digital twin is going to be the future of the entire industry. So here if you see the monitor and respond, the traditional SOCs and human intensive video only, and then we cross across to the line where predictive and simulate and naturalize and human AI co-piloted. This is another important aspect, like all the speakers are saying here. You are not going to take away the human intervention in the entire process of security. That's going to remain. But at what level and how we are going to take it over is what is the debatable thing. When the agentic AI completes the decision and the decision is given to a final conclusion, whether it is a QRT or whether it is another specific device or a robot that actually does the execution is what has to be defined and decided. That SOP will make the entire security industry's changes, and then it actually transforms it. This slide, I would like to leave it to other speakers, because if you see, there is a lot of gaps that creates when you create a lot of systems. The IT behind the AI is massive, and that got a lot of involved development that happens at that different level. Just the security related AI and the security related software that we are getting developed have a lot of vulnerabilities. I am not saying it is foolproof, it's 100% closed, or it's 100% safe. There are many open issues that are there that need to be figured out and solved. That there is industry on the side which is working on fixing the vulnerabilities of this AI. This also zero trust models and all those things. We do have vulnerabilities. Let us address them. Without addressing them, there will be a lot of gaps and holes. But looking at those cyber, issues or cybersecurity issues, this is not the time where we cannot implement AI in the security. AI in the security is already happening. So this is. And by the way, I want to go back to the data points, because this is where the consolidated dashboards you have. If you see, we have actually counted around 21 lakh people within 11 days. And how did we do that? With multiple cameras that are there, and then multiple cameras bringing into the data, and generative AI is actually doing the analysis in the back end. So we have done the parking, we have done vehicles from all the directions into the city, and this entire information as data points are given to the different departments for the purpose of different utilization. This is not a single data source, this is multiple data source, and the data final analysis is going to multiple departments. The reason why I brought up this as a use case is you won't get a chance to see 11,000 12,000 faces in 2 hours. And you don't get a chance to see or capture almost 21 lakh faces within 10 days. So like Professor Sir was saying, the data is very important for us. And to develop the LLMs have to feed on the training data, and the training data again help us to rebuild the LLMs. So this cycle of developing and rebuilding the LLMs, which is very deficient at the Indian context right now, because even the facial recognition standards we don't have. And those facial recognition standards are actually American standards. So why we don't have those? Because a lot of research has to happen. And when one city with almost 21 lakh people coming from across the country, so you have faces from every state, every corner, and every area been captured at one location. And that's the training data that we have. So if you look at, this is all AI generated. And if you see it is overwhelming, it's a data overload, it is not. The very basic level of the constables that are there, they were able to figure it out because it's their area. And if somebody is from a security head of a SEZ or a security head of a large hospital, they won't decipher this one, but the constable was able to decipher. And for him, when he sees some of these very minor points, he knows where to go and whom to talk and how to solve the issue. And parking lots, the Janasancharam is the last one where we have collected data from the railway stations. When 25,000 people are coming out of the railway station, they know how to manage the traffic. When they know how to move these people and make a way 2 kilometers round so that they don't go directly to the temple. So that was an amazing feat that those police people have done. So Q line footfall, that's 18 lakhs is just 9 days. And after that, there was another 3 lakhs that came up. And Annaprasadam is the free food that they provide at the lunchtime and the dinner time. So morning and afternoon, evening, that was availed by 4,28,000 people. And we have counted all these statistics are taken directly from the cameras. And nothing, no clickers, no personal monitoring, no individual counting anything. If you see the parking occupancy, it is 46,000 vehicles. And toll plaza vehicles, it's almost 3,22,000 vehicles came into the city within the 10 days for this purpose. This is the temporary command control we created on the fly, which is just for the sake of 10 days. The DGP, SP, everyone was there, including the Home Minister and the MLAs of the local constituencies. So, the end of the day, the human collaboration will be the hallmark of tomorrow's SEC. Without the human intervention, without the human involvement, we don't have ability right now with the AI to completely close the loop. So we still need to have that process of reworking out in terms of the decision-making process, leaving it to the humans. So this is where I see the security professionals having a complete role on taking the decisions. There is no way we can actually remove the human in the loop in this AI process. The human in the loop is very essential in the AI process, and that has to be part of the entire, security. Thank you very much.
You're truly beyond surveillance.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice keyword. Any questions, sir? I'll take 2 questions, but boss, be crisp. Don't read the question. Okay, go ahead.
Hi, sir. Thank you so much. So I could understand technology has improved a lot, but I also think that just implementing them in IT infrastructure or a large landscape will not be able to reach the proper intended use or the heights it should be reached. So the first thing that could be done as of your knowledge is implementing them in a smaller landscape. For example, that could be implemented in ATMs.
It's not a question. I think you're asking suggestion to him. You're giving
Yeah, I'm giving-
that you can do during the tea break, so it'll be very helpful. Any questions? Yeah.
So, again, that you're using your technology, is that in-house built or open source this time?
No, everything that we have built, all the models, everything is in-house. We have our own teams that does the annotations and labelings and all those things. We do every process in-house. There is no third-party things. So this has been processed for 5 years, not today. So there are many places that we have requested the police when they have lot of these events are happening. They call us to have some kind of a solution to be put in there. So we keep on working with them, keep on taking that information. So we don't take the face and keep the face. We actually do, take the face and do the entire process and remove the entire picture. So it's only training data that we take, and then that's why we don't have any physical information that is there. We are already in contact with them.
The questions should be brief, please. Please.
Short line. How do you remove duplicates, specifically in the example that you produced? How do you remove duplicates, and what is the cross verification to it to ensure the data is accurate and the numbers are correct?
So, the first question about the removing the duplicates. There are hardly any duplicates that happened because, the queue lines were very well managed. Like how I'll give you an example of the vehicle on the highways, right? So when you go to the toll booth, you have each vehicle getting stopped and then moving ahead, right? So initially, first day was a difficult day because there is a lot of crowd and there is a lot of occlusions, head behind the head and, cover. So we readjusted the cameras and then collected the heads. So our system, we have two ways of doing it. One is we do unique faces. We can also do posture. We also do head count. So some combination we have taken where the first day was a training period. We told them first 2 days we're not going to give accurate information. That was our work of back end. And from the third day we have actually started. So that the reason why we have started 2 days before instead of the day of the event, which is starting day, the 10th starting day. That was because of the training of the information. Like Professor was saying that we need to have the training data. We need to have our understanding. We need to do the benchmarking first for those 2 days. This is exactly the reason when we go to any customer, we'll say, we'll implement it, we'll test it, we'll also work with you. Take some period as a cool-off period, and then we'll go, productive line. Until that time, it's actually the system getting trained, the ML is getting trained, and we do have the entire models, everything built, but we do also need some lead time because every environment is different. Your school environment is different from the college. From the college environment, your hospital is different. So AI security, trying to implement the same model from one to the other doesn't work. You still need to have some, initial training that you need to do in those environments. So the duplicates were very minimal, and the third day it was almost eliminated.
And is it the same case for the vehicle and driver, sir?
I'm sorry?
Same driver coming again, going back, same vehicle coming again.
There's whitelist. The VIP vehicles, not in the parking lot, but going up the temple and down. Every vehicle was given only 1 day pass, and that was enforced by us. If the vehicle comes second time, it's actually blacklisted. We actually show them as blacklisted. At the end of the day, we show them the list of blacklisted or dual entry as a violation in the report. And all these reports are generated dynamically. We have not done any manual work. Everything is system generated. Even the reports at the end of the day was generated by the system.